right, guys, welcome back to another Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing Bassmaster Open Pros Pick'em for the Tennessee River. You know, we had the winner picked in this group of guys. Bradley Hallman picked Brian New to win at St. John's River. Not terribly shocked that the guy came out swinging out the gate, just like Bradley said. That was such a solid pick. This week, though, these guys are dealing with a massive winter storm that just basically just killed the whole southern part of the United States. You know, tournaments are canceled. People can't travel. There's snow and ice everywhere. Things are starting to melt. People are able to fish now. Todd, I know you've had your fair share of problems down there in Texas. I know I saw some pictures on Instagram that you had trees down all over the place. I see that you have power, which is a great thing. I know a lot of people in your area still don't have power or water, for that matter. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with you.
Man, it was wild down here because I mean, and like I said, I mean, I say all this, we were all right. Our heater went out before we lost electricity, so we already had that on top of the fact. Like our heater went out a day before we lost electricity. Right when I think the night it was getting down to 5. So, but yeah, we lost electricity. We went off grid for about 3 days. Actually, like we didn't have cell phones. We could make a phone call every once in a while, no text. I couldn't have told you if the world was ending. Like we couldn't like get on news, nothing, no water, no anything. We have electricity back now. We got our heater fixed, and we got water, but we don't. We're under boil deal.
Yeah.
We spent all day yesterday. I know you had sent me a text about this. We spent all day yesterday cleaning up the backyard. So my front yard now, the city's gonna love coming by my front yard and collecting all that stuff. It was it's been, man. There's some guys that were traveling through here, and I was like, I warned them. I said, hey guys, when y'all travel through, y'all better make sure y'all have gas. Gas lines are 30 minutes to an hour wait. If you could get it, that's today even.
Yeah, that's if you could get it. I know my parents were dealing with that. So
right, and so and like I said, I prepared for like I went to the grocery store yesterday just to get some stuff, just to see like early in the morning, and it was just interesting to see there was almost nothing there.
Yeah.
I didn't really need to. I was really just going there for paper plates and stuff like that because we prepared. You know, we had stuff. Yeah. And I was ready for all this stuff, so I was ready to bunker down for a week, and that's kind of what we did was hunker down for a week. So it's all good now, though. We're good.
Hallman, Panger, y'all survive in OKC in that area?
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of used to this kind of cold up here. I mean, maybe not as cold as it got in the negatives and stuff, but definitely. I feel like Oklahoma is definitely a little more used to these freezing temperatures, for sure. Panger, any problems at your house? Any issues?
I mean, I was gonna say we have to pump the basement out because we got some water issues in that, and it was cold showers for a week. But after hearing Todd's story, I'll take that all day. Just a lot of as Mr. Hallman would tell you as a plumber too, a lot of north-facing walls without any insulation around them, and over 100 hours below freezing. But hey, we got through it, and it looks like we're on the upswing now.
You know, I think the difference, and I know a lot of people from up north are always like, kind of go, we deal with this all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but up north, they don't have air conditions up north. When you go like way up north, because there's no reason to, right? It never gets that hot. Well, there's a reason why we hadn't had weather like this since 1939. It's literally a once every 100-year type deal. And so, not saying what happened was right with the other side of the deal, but like our houses and we're just not, no one built stuff around here that is ready to take that on. So like, I don't have a fireplace in my house. I mean, you go anywhere up north, I'm sure that almost everyone has furnaces, fireplaces. We just, a lot of houses aren't built like that because 99% of the time we don't need them. So it's just man, you know how that goes, man. All of it came together, and man, it hit everyone pretty hard.
Yeah, that's I had a pipe break in my attic, and I literally caught it in the first 5 minutes, thankfully, over my garage. So I go outside to get a case of water, and I hear water running. It's like the worst thing ever, and you just see it pouring out of your roof. or out of your ceiling, and I'm like, oh my god, like what's gonna like run outside? I had to dig out the cutoff, and it was 2 foot under the snow, and just trying to get that off was a nightmare. It's like -5 degrees, and I mean it was just awful. But I ended up having to climb up in the attic, fixed it, turned the water back on about 30 minutes later, and it ruptured the pipe again. Refixed it, and now we're good. So I had minimal damage, but got really, really lucky. Got to test my plumbing skills. I'm not a very good plumber at all.
Sounds like you did pretty good to me.
Hey, you know what? I'm just glad I didn't fall through the ceiling. So that's kind of where I was at with it. But hey, guys, let's talk about the Tennessee River. We got a big tournament coming up this week. I'm really curious to see. I know Panger's probably done his research on the weather because he's probably researched it every day for the last 2 weeks. But Panger, tell us a little bit about what do you think these guys are going to be facing this week at the Tennessee River?
It's going to be cold, muddy water with some flow to it. And it's going to be new for a lot of them. You know, the last time they were there was in 2019 for the Classic. A large portion of those anglers are not competing this week. So a lot of the guys are new that have seen it. It hasn't been above 50 in that Knoxville area since February 11th. So way before Valentine's Day. And even though we're seeing a warming trend, you got a lot of runoff, a lot of melt, a lot of stuff that's going on. And I mean, we'll hit 60 degrees, but what? Low 40s, high 30s water, little mud rolling through there on a fishery. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, let's go ahead and kick this off. Panger, I mean, you already got us started. Let's hear your Group A pick for the Tennessee River.
All right, I'm going to start off. This is a weird tournament. Like, this is hard to pick. So I'm going to go into like kind of safety mode here and pick. I'm going with Matt Herron in the A group. A lot of people don't realize this, but for the past 4 years, Matt Herron has had a top 20 finish in one of the first 2 tournaments of the season, not in Florida. So you're talking Guntersville, Lanier, Ross Barnett, Cherokee, cold water events that are hard to get checks in. Matt Herron's done it. He's old school. He can throw the flat side plug. He can throw a jig. He's not scared of it. And even though he's in Alabama, he's only 3 hours away from the fishery. So I look for Matt Herron to have a great event, and he's going to be my A bucket pick.
And he also has a flat side named after him with PH Customs. I don't know if you knew that, but
No, I did not.
Herron does have a flat side named after him. So, I mean, the guy definitely is confident with a flat side in his hand, and I think that is going to be a major player this week. Hallman, what you got for Group A?
I was along the same lines of what he was thinking, and I was thinking about those guys that I know can swing a jig this time of year because the jig's probably going to play in this tournament. Hackney was good on this list, but Polinick was here on this list. He's been there before. He had a good Classic when they were here in 19. I'm going to stay with Polinick.
Well, my Group A, I've kind of gone back and forth, and it's funny that you say Polinick because Polinick is one of the ones that I've gone back and forth on. And Hackney is the other one. Both of them, and I look at, and it's not the same fishery, but just based on conditions, both of them did well at Grand Lake at some sub-zero temperature tournaments. Both of them are, Polinick's very confident with spinnerbait in his hand, which that definitely could play with a big blade on it. But Hackney, with his flat side experience, with his versatility with a jig, I mean, King Kong hat got nothing on me. I know y'all remember that tournament at Dardanelle.
Legendary right there.
Legendary. Dude. And I'm going Hackney on this one. It's hard not to go with him. The confidence that he's bringing from the St. Johns River, I think, is going to be what brings him over the top on this. Todd, what you got Group A?
Hackney.
Yeah.
Hackney, and it's crazy you brought up the Grand Lake deal, but it was a Grand Lake flat side crankbait, throwing a jig. The river deal. I mean, he's in Louisiana. Yeah. I'm not saying he's like phenomenal on rivers, but it's not going to, I don't know if it's going to, I couldn't imagine it being too main lake if it's running all that water. So it's going to be a little bit not saying back in places, but I just don't, I think it's just going to be different. That guy will drive anywhere he has to. That's just like this whole deal, in my opinion, is all going to be like safety stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you better pick safe for this tournament because you could. There's some guys that can throw up some bombs, I think, on this one.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this one definitely is one of those. Hey, Panger, who is your Group A dark horse, real quick?
Keith Combs.
Combs. What about you, Hallman?
I haven't even looked at a dark horse.
Oh my gosh.
Brian Schmidt. There you go. He's hot. He's at a low percentage. There's your dark horse.
I'm going Menendez, coming off a good tournament. And he's from that general area. I think he's going to have some good experience there. And definitely, he was actually probably in the top 5 picks for me in that bracket anyway. I think he's going to have a good tournament. How about you, Todd?
Well, you know what? If he can pull off a second place, man, that's one of old Hallman's buddies. I'm gonna pick Brian New because there's only one guy to start. Hallman's a good buddy, first and second.
Yeah, no doubt.
If anyone knows what I'm talking about, tell him, Hallman.
I don't know. Schmitty, like I said, I just got off the phone.
No. Who's your buddy who right out of the gates, first and second?
Brian New won the event. I'm lost.
Wolverine.
Oh yeah, him and Remy both out of the gate. Yeah.
First tournament he ever elites won it.
Yeah.
Freaking second tournament of the year, he come in second. Man, that was impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. That's throwing back some history there now.
Man, I know, and I mean, I threw up a freaking easy one to home.
I didn't know if you were talking about like first and second place in the last event. You lost me on that.
No, I'm like, man, you're one of your best buddies of all time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's move to Group B. Hallman, what you got for Group B?
Man, I've been round and round on this group. I settled down on Stetson Blaylock. I just feel like him being in Arkansas, from the hills there, it looks a lot like East Tennessee does. He's familiar with that type of impoundment. It's going to be, like I say, it's going to be a grinding tournament. Stetson's definitely got the history to do that. So Blaylock.
I actually went Stetson as well. This was probably one of the more solid picks for me as far as who I was expecting to do well in this tournament. So, yeah, I do too. What about you, Todd? Who you got?
Man, I don't want to be – that's kind of who I had. Y'all come back to me. I might switch it up now.
What you got, Panger?
I got Stetson Blaylock too, but I think he's got a beef to pick with this fishery because back in 2008, he was a co-angler on another circuit, and he finished second on Tellico Loudon in June by just 6 ounces. So I think he wants to get back there and get it. Plus, I was trying to think, why does Stetson stick out in this group? So I went back and ran some numbers. The man has 9 top 10s dating back to 2019. So a lot of high percentage there, plus the history there. Plus he's Arkansas. I think it's a safe pick for me.
It's very safe. Yeah, I agree. Todd? Todd, I'm just waiting for you to do some research.
Dude, if you pick Stetson, we're probably jinxing the poor boy.
Yeah, no doubt. You might have to go a different direction.
I don't know if we've had somebody yet this year that all 4 of us picked.
KJ Queen.
Oh, I like that one, though. That's a good one. He's a good fisherman, man. All right, dark horse, Panger. Let's go. Let's see what you got.
Man, I could see Luke Palmer going Okie on everyone and slinging around an old blade. Plus, he's like a farmer dude. He's not afraid to be out in the cold. I like Luke Palmer for a dark horse.
Hallman, what you got on dark horse?
I'm going to go with Justin Hamner just because, we fished against him last year in the Opens and we saw what he's capable of. Don't sleep on these rookies that are coming in this year out of the Opens because we know what they went through to get there. And that kid showed that he's got some salt in his britches. He can get it done.
I'm actually going to go with Daryl Gleason at 0.4%. Gleason's just very, very consistent. If you want a very consistent pick, I'm not going to say he's not going to do well in the event, but if you want a good middle of the road, going to be in the probably 30s, 40s, around in that range, I think he's a very solid pick, and he might even do better. He's just very, very consistent. Todd?
I'm going straight rookie on this too. Hamner. I'm going Justin Hamner as well. Just because where he makes his living at is somewhat, that Lake, all that stuff, all those rivers, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm going to lead us off in Group C. This was another one that I kind of struggled with as far as groups go because I feel like there's a lot of really good anglers in this group and a lot of sleepers, but I'm going Matt Robertson. Definitely understands river flow. I mean, if you look at his events at Neely Henry, Lake, grew up on Kentucky Lake, and right now Kentucky's fishing as tough as it ever has the last few years, and he can still catch them there and win tournaments. I think he's going to have a very, very good event here. Hallman, what you got? Group C.
I'm going with Clifford Perch from Arizona. So an Arizona guy in Tennessee, and what's up with that? But he had a strong classic here in 19. And guys, there's some sleeper information here if you want some way back history, like what Panger talked about. The FLW Tour spent quite a bit of time back in the day going to this venue this time of year. And so those guys that were over there at that time, which he was one of them, it's going to have some history here as well. So Clifford Perch knows his way around on the Fort Loudon for sure.
What you got, Todd? Group C.
I mean, like, I feel like I'm sort of doing what Hallman did at the end of the year last year. I just told everyone to play it safe.
Don't do that.
Don't.
Oh no! You remember how it ended for me? It was bad.
I know, but like, they're not like. Man, what if I just come out of the gates, man? Shane LaHue.
I don't think that's a bad pick.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, these are like dark horse numbered looking picks, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. As far as percent owned, yeah, absolutely, no doubt.
I mean, I'm not saying like the guy, like I'm picking good fishermen. I'm just saying like percentages wise, I'm kind of like Matt. I try not to look at the percentages, but like because I kind of like y'all kind of are picking some of the guys I want to pick, so I'm trying not to. All right, that's it.
Shane LaHue. All right, Panger, what you got?
Panger's froze.
He is froze.
Like froze, like
and Andrew, that Robertson pick's a good one because that dude does get some current stuff. That's why.
I mean, like he's super froze.
I know.
He looks like the ice storm got him. Look,
Yeah, it finally got him.
Oh, let's run.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and do. We lost Panger. He's gonna be right back. We're gonna go ahead and do dark horses for Group C. Hallman, what you got for dark horses?
Well, I was going to look just right off the top, and I saw Matt Airy, but it's not really a dark horse at 8%. Justin Adkins is up there. Kyle Welcher is up there. Let's see here. Golly, everybody you would think would be a dark horse or a pick is pretty high. I mean, Todd picked a really good one at Shane LaHue. That Tyler Rivette is back in there again. That kid from Louisiana. I'm telling y'all, nobody pays attention, and he just keeps knocking them down. Tyler Rivette.
Yeah, I like that one as well. Todd, who you have as your dark horse? I mean, other than Shane LaHue coming in at 0.8%.
Yeah. I don't know how to say Rob's last name. I want to pronounce that right.
I'm gonna say Dye.
Rob Dye?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking too. I just want to make sure. Him, North Carolina. Man, I look at just any of those North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, like that. Mm-hmm. Man, I can't. Y'all know what goes on up there, man. It's all rivers. I know it might not be the Tennessee River, but it's all a little bit of flow, a little bit of current. That's a lot that goes on up there. I'm just hoping maybe he's got a little bit of that in his background. No
doubt. It's obviously not a dark horse, and like Hallman was saying, there's the dark horses. I'm gonna look at a secondary pick. There was two people that I was looking at picking in this bracket. I'm not just gonna go pick some random dude. Matt Airy was the other pick for me, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. He is a cold water machine. You look at his wins at Beaver Lake. Granted, some of those were spawn events. The guy understands cold water pretty well. I think he's going to have a very good event at this one. Like I said, those were my two picks. Was Matt Airy and Matt Robertson. I think they're both going to have a good tournament. All right, guys. Panger got back online. Had some internet issues. We already did our Group C pick and dark horse pick. Panger, what is your Group C pick and dark horse?
My Group C pick is Bill Lowen. There's the guy knows how to catch him on the Ohio River out of Indiana and Ohio. Surely he can catch 5 out of the Tennessee River. So I think he's seen this before, and when it's tough, he can catch him. So going with Bill Lowen. I don't know who else is in the C group because my internet's down and I just have this screen up right now. So my dark horses for the last 3 groups, just go to the D group.
All right. Well, hey, I can tell you right now, Bill Lowen, I think, is going to have a great event. He was one of my other picks in this group as well. He definitely Ohio River. You can't go wrong. I mean, if you can catch a bass, if you can catch 5 bass on the Ohio River, you can catch 5 on the Tennessee River. There's no doubt about that. Group D, since Todd is so confident in his Group D now, let's go Group D. Todd Castledine. Who you got, or Tad Castledine, as some people call him?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Did they mess up here? Like, did the fantasy like, hey, we're just gonna throw this one out there and make it easy for everyone? Because I think that's pretty easy. I don't know, muddy water, freaking Jason Christie. I don't even have to explain this pick. That should just be a given. That's an easy one. It's the easiest pick of the entire. He might finish last place. I don't care. It's still the easiest pick.
Yeah. Who you got, Hallman?
I disagree with Todd, and I think he may have missed the name at the bottom of the list.
I think
I see that. Okay, yeah. All right. This guy was in contention for AOI last year at the very end. He is from here. This is where he lives. Not like Tennessee is a funny state. Like, you can be in Tennessee, but if you live in Memphis, it's not much closer than living out here in Oklahoma City to this place, right in Knoxville. That's the truth of the matter. This guy lives right there. David Mullins, 100% all day long. I think it's the best pick I've got on my whole team.
Wow.
You do know, well, okay.
All right. Well, what do you got, Pangrac? Because, I mean, we got two totally opposites here.
Dude, it's Jason Christie, man. He like has made a career off of this type of stuff.
No doubt.
Mullins, like, I know Mullins really well, dude. Like that dude wants to throw a freaking big old crankbait deep somewhere. Like, that's his Tennessee. He lives in a different part of Tennessee. Like, he's just, that's where he excels on that, like, really deep impoundments, that other stuff. I'm not saying he won't catch them here because it's Mullins. Like, and luckily he's probably not watching this. He's probably like scouting out duck hunting for freaking 3 years from now, whatever. But
I'm pulling up for you.
Didn't you go up the river and throw a flat side on, or a little crankbait on Cherokee to almost win that, Mullins?
Which one? Well, he will do that on, like, he will fish. He does like the north end of Cherokee over the south end. I will say that.
Yeah. My Group D is, honestly, this is one of those that I've gone back and forth with 1,000 times because I love the Jason Christie pick here, and I might change it the day before. I hadn't really quite decided yet. I love the Jason Christie pick. I mean, if you look at past classics at Grand Lake, you look at Hartwell, I think that was his first tour win ever, throwing a big spinnerbait, a big blade. I mean, the guy is so confident in cold water. The other one that I'm looking at is Chris Zaldane. The last time that they had the classic there in 2019, had a great event, actually caught one of the biggest bags of the event, and then kind of stumbled on the last day or so. I really think Zaldane is going to have a big event here. He didn't have the event he wanted in Florida, and I think he comes out the gates here and catches them. Todd, who you got your dark horse Group D?
I will. There was one I saw on here. I thought I saw him on here. Tyler Curry.
Okay. What about you, Hallman? What you got?
Maybe a Shane Lineberger. He's just right across the border there in North Carolina.
I've got Brandon Card. I'm honestly surprised he's so low owned in this group. If I'm being honest, I think he is going to have a big event here. What about you, Panger? I don't know.
I got Brandon Card as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is he familiar from around that area, but that dude finds some sneaky stuff in weird tournaments. Like, I can remember 2 or 3 times where it was like, oh, Brandon Card did what? And comes in with a 20-pound bag.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's from that area. I didn't know that he had relocated to North Carolina, but as far as I known, he was from Tennessee originally. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he spent all his years in Tennessee. So, I mean, that's an easy pick there to me. Let's go Group E. Let's just shoot from the hip here. Let's go Hallman. What you got here, Hallman?
I'm going to go with Todd Otten.
Golly, I knew you were going Todd Otten.
This was a hard group for me. I'm sure it's going to be hard for everybody. It's always a hard group, but the Skylar Hamilton, you know, I mean, he's from Tennessee. I get all that. You know, he's from Dandridge right there, by close to this place. And but Todd Otten's got a lot of experience. He's been there. He's also falls in that group that was on another tour, spent some time there this time of year years ago. So Otten is also, he falls into that same category. He tends to do well in these early pre-spawn tournaments where it's a shallow creek, spinnerbait, jig type tournament. And it's kind of in his wheelhouse.
I went the exact same pick for a couple of reasons. Otten didn't have the tournament he won in Florida. I mean, basically, he was in the top 3 of Angler of the Year last year, if I remember correctly. Was it last year or year before last? I mean, he was up there in Angler of the Year a lot and had some great events. Otten definitely knows how to catch them in cold water. He is probably one of the very best people with a chatterbait in his hand. And I think this event, when you start talking cold, dirty water, I mean, a chatterbait definitely plays. So I think Todd Otten is it was a lot easier pick for me in this group than others. Maybe the only other one would probably be a David Fritz, but just because of his cranking prowess. But Todd, who you got here in Group E?
Skylar Hamilton. And the way I look at this is easy. This is going to go one way or the other. There's 3 ways it's going to go. He's either going to do really good. He's either going to absolutely bomb, like bad bomb, like last 5. And it's not on him. It's just the whole being a local type deal. But I will say something about being a local. A lot of times, I know even like all of us, a lot of times people look at when we go to some of our home lakes, we had a bad event and we still finished in the top 50%. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a bad event because everyone expected us to do so good, but it was still actually like we still actually did okay. Or you might have gotten a check or something like, oh, you had a tough event. Yeah, but I still got a check. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the way I look at that deal. Is that like he might have a bad tournament in his eyes, but he actually might do all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. Panger, what you got for Group E?
What's on here?
I have no idea.
She was beating the
Hamilton. Whoa, what's up, Brad?
She was beating the table with her tail, and I had to stop it.
I couldn't figure out what he was laughing.
You
I got Skylar Hamilton as well.
Yeah.
I pick these things without looking at percentages. I'm all about points, and I don't care who else gets points with me. It's early in the year. I had a good first tournament, and kind of like Todd was saying, man, I don't want to give up those points already. Even if I bomb, he's gonna tank with half of the other fantasy players, which I mean, I knew he'd be popular, but I looked at it after I picked it and was like, holy cow. But I mean, if you take the percentages out and look at it, it's the guy I got the most confidence in that bucket just as a whole.
Yeah, no doubt. My dark horse, like I said, is David Fritz. Who you got, Hallman?
Dark horse Jay Ellis.
I like that.
Been in the game a long time. He's strong this time of year as well. Been on this place many times before.
I'm actually changing mine. I'm going Rick Clunn, just for the fact that he had such a terrible event at in Florida where he's won. I think he's going to come out swinging, throwing a crankbait, and probably do pretty well in this tournament. What about you, Todd? Who you got dark horse?
Caleb Summerall.
I like that bit. Panger?
I got Jake Whittaker. He had a really bad tournament in Florida. You look at, I mean, the guy's caught him since he made the Elite Series. He's from the Carolinas. He knows how to throw a plug. I think he has a rebound tournament this week.
Well, probably one of my favorite things to do is try to guess the weight, the tiebreaker weight, which we got extremely close to in the last event. I want to say we were less than a pound away. So, I mean, you can't really, I mean, we're going to be pretty close. I'm actually really curious to see, I mean, with all this cold water and everything going on, I'm curious to see how close we actually are as a group. Panger, what is your weight, your 4-day weight here at the Tennessee River?
I got 52.11.
Oh, okay.
Oh, let me change mine.
That's over 12 pounds a day. That's 2.5. That gives you, I mean, you could see a 17, 18 pound bag. I mean, those smallmouth get big in there, we've seen, but to get 4 consistent days, I mean, the Classic was fairly stable when it was on, and there weren't a lot of big bags. Man, I think you average 2 3/4 pounders. I think that could get the job done.
Yeah. What about you, Hallman? What you got?
I'm going with 58 too. I'm going for just a little shy under 15 pounds a day. I think that's what it's going to take. I think 12 is a little light. If you go back and look at the classic weights, you're taking probably the best fisherman of the group on this lake out of it being odd to foe, but everybody else fell in place 15 pounds a day.
Yeah. I actually went a little heavy. I think it's going to surprise us a little bit in this one. And maybe I'm wrong. I went 62.4. When Defoe won, I want to say he had like 49 around in that range in 3 days. I don't see why he, or not necessarily him, but like someone in this field figuring out a way to catch one big bag and then backing it up with some really consistent bags as well. So, and hey, let's look at this field though. I mean, this field is loaded this year with some really, really good fishermen. I really think you're going to see some good weights. Todd, what do you got on your weight?
56.8.
56.8. So I'm the highest, Panger's the lowest, and y'all kind of packed up there in the middle. I think we're going to be really close. I think it's going to be somewhere around in that range, no doubt. I would love to see it go way higher, but I think current conditions are going to kind of put a damper on that a little bit. But guys,
hey, real quick, are we allowed to change our picks?
Man, I feel like I've kind of opened the door for that a little bit.
Yeah, you said something because I was thinking my one pick's been bothering me, and I'm like, man, I can't go like crazy 2 dark horses. Like that's a little insane. So I did change my pick. I think someone else already picked him. It was in Group C. So, but that I'm just letting you know I changed.
Well, I've got a couple that, and like I said, I've kind of announced who I would switch between if I was going to switch. I think it's a toss up. I mean, like if you look at one of my picks was a Jason Christie pick, and I really him and Zaldane, I like both of them a lot. That's a really hard one for me because I just know how good Christie is in dirty water, and cold water.
So you might change it leading up to.
I might change it. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it kind of up in the air a little bit on that. I know.
We can do that.
Well, yeah, we can do that.
I've never done it. I'm just asking because I went to like really not questionable. I went out of the box. I can go out of the box once, but I can't go twice, man. Like I went way out there.
Right. But I mean, it's also, I think it's good. No one really knows exactly how it's going to be. So you got to get a couple days of practice under their belt there. And then you can kind of assess the, if you got guys that are just holding up 6-7 pound smallmouth, like, oh, this place is awesome. Like, I mean, that's going to kind of change.
Just like at St. John's, I saw that Seth Fighter had a bad practice, but he still held up some big ones. And I was like, man, I really wanted to switch my pick to Fighter because what I'd seen on social and him talking about how bad it was. And we all know fishermen lie. And when he sit there and says, man, I didn't find the big ones, I'm struggling, I just knew he was going to have a good tournament. And of course he did. So I didn't change my pick. Obviously I should have because I did terrible. But guys, that is a wrap here for Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing here on the Tennessee River. I hope these tips helped you. Sorry for the bit of delay in the middle, Panger. Like, what the heck, dude? But anyways, guys, we'll catch you at the next one. Thank you again. Make sure you subscribe to the channels below. Bradley Hallman, Todd Castledine, myself, and go check out Matt Pangrac on Bass Zone Live. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.